Welcome back into Popcorn and Beers in what was a majorly packed movie moment at cinemas. Unexpectedly packed. So I take it you had the same experience as I did, Jordan.
Absolutely. It was crazy.
It was so full. I sat next to a stranger for the first time in years.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was crowded.
Yeah, it was packed. And I you know what? We'll get to our butter on top later, but I think there couldn't have been a better movie for it to be so crowded. So, Josh, what are you sipping?
Oh, right now I got the Wrecking Ball Red from Fat Toad, the brewery in Oklahoma where I work. One of the best beers of my life.
There you go. One of the best beers of my life.
Wow.
And he's old as shit, so you know that's saying something. I've just got a little refreshing White Claw. So, sorry. Jordan, what were you watching this week?
Yeah, so I got to watch a show on Max, the rebranded Max, no longer HBO Max.
The annoying different app. They couldn't just put it all into the same app.
Exactly, yeah. It's called White House Plumbers, starring Woody Harrelson and Justin Theroux as E. Howard Hunt and G. Gordon Liddy, the men who
That dude's a hottie, though, right?
Justin Theroux?
Yeah.
Oof, I heard he's notorious for not wearing sleeves.
What?
He never wears sleeve shirts in real life. That's what they say on Smart.
That's funny. These are the men that orchestrated and carried out the Watergate hotel scandal on behalf of Richard Tricky Dick Nixon.
Yeah.
Calling themselves the White House Plumbers because they fix leaks. These guys were real pieces of work. Mostly in that Hunt had a son named St. John and a daughter named Kevin, and may or may not have been involved in the assassination of JFK. And his wife was almost certainly murdered by the government. Watch the show. There's layers to this show that you do not expect. Even though this is like real history, there's just things that you're like, I've never heard about this aspect of it. And he's not even the really crazy one. That is G. Gordon Liddy, who has a really weird admiration for Nazis. I don't know how this man got like government clearances and stuff. It's insane. And Justin Theroux plays him so good. He's incredible in this role.
He's incredible.
He's good.
He is great. He's a very underrated actor.
Yeah.
Very much.
It's a quick watch, 5 episodes, keeps a real humorous tone, good supporting cast, namely the super talented Lena Headey, aka Cersei Lannister.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah,
also
she's
great.
really good. I give it a popcorn and 2.
Nice.
Pop and 2 for the White House Plumbers.
Yeah.
All right. What was next on your agenda, sir?
I watched the American Gladiators documentary. I'm going to keep this one short.
You know, his dad tried out for American Gladiators.
Really?
Yeah, my dad,
awesome.
he aced every physical test except for the run. He tripped on his shoelaces or something, and so he was like just off on time.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, it's on ESPN. It's a 30 for 30 on ESPN, ESPN Plus app, where you can watch that.
They do good.
They talk about the tryout process and how it's something like you got to do, God, I don't know, what is it, like 30 pull-ups in, if you can't do 30 pull-ups in, I don't know, like 20 seconds or something crazy. I was like, there's no way I can
do that.
Like they'll pull up a second?
Yeah, pretty much. They're like, you're done. You're automatically out. Like that's the first thing they have you do. They just have pull-up bars and they're like, go, and they time you.
That's so interesting. I've heard about like trying out for WWE back in the day. They'd have you sit on. You remember those 5-gallon buckets that had like the lip to it? That was like if you sat in, they'd have you sit on that with that lip, and the person I was listening to on the podcast said it would dig into your thighs, and they continuously put weight on top of your back, your shoulders, and your legs. And it's kind of like a pain threshold. Like how much of this can you deal with? Because when you start wrestling, you're gonna have to deal with pain. Like lots of people think this isn't real, but there's a lot of pain involved. And can you do it with a straight face?
Wow.
So it's
keep the kayfabe up.
Exactly. Like keep the act up. Like I'm so tough, but in reality, you're like, damn, this hurts.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting.
They're like, all right, and now we're gonna waterboard you.
Yeah. Right. Can you handle it? Can you?
My first thought is the creator Johnny Ferraro looks like an Elvis impersonator. Turns out he was an Elvis impersonator. He was like, I don't know what city he's from. I think it's like, I don't know, Minnesota or Milwaukee, something like that. I don't know. But he was like the most famous Elvis impersonator of like his state. Like he was like super, super famous as an Elvis impersonator. Like, yeah, very early on. He is the ultimate exploitive scumbag. You get heavy like Vince McMahon vibes from him.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a funny scene where they're interviewing the director of the old series, and he's like, "Man, I think I'm the top 10 in directors having fun." And they're like, "Wait. Not like top 10 like directors on TV ever, but just in having fun." He's like, "Yep, it's a title I hold proudly." he's a funny guy if you get
just
to watch him.
Fun.
Yeah, he's super delightful. You're like, "Oh man, that guy looked like he was one of the brighter aspects of the show to like work for." But these people were horribly taken advantage of. They got paid basically nothing. Super toxic environment. They somehow into their contracts, they got it like written in that if they got hurt, they had to pay for their own like medical treatment and whatnot out of their very minimal salary. It's horrible. Yeah.
So like no health care at all.
Nothing. Yeah.
Sheesh.
And they were also just fed steroids. Like,
all you
want steroid buffet for them. So, and a lot of them are really messed up now later in life. You know, there's one guy that's like, he has like a brace on and he can't walk upright, and it's pretty sad. And then I guess there's a co-creator in this whole equation for making American Gladiators. And the scumbag guy, Johnny Ferraro, I didn't know this was a thing, bought his life rights so that this man can never publicly speak like about anything.
Like an NDA?
No, the term he used was he bought his life rights. That's the term that the producers of the show made.
Like the rights to his own life?
Like he cannot make any
memoirs,
kind of public,
no screenplays,
nothing.
No interviews.
You cannot speak about American Gladiators.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a trip. I give this a pop 3. It's a really good documentary.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I grew up just worshiping that show. Like as soon as it's on, we're running, like twisting my ankle trying to get to the TV, and even more so, like I said, like my dad was, he tried out for it, he almost made it. It just sounded so cool to me that like as long as you're in great shape, you can be on TV and go on an obstacle course, which is like really was my dream as a kid.
Yeah,
I want to shoot a tennis ball gun.
That's right. And then run to like each obstacle.
It looks so fun, dude. Yeah, and the jousting,
the Powerball run.
Yeah,
jousting was my favorite, but the Powerball run, where they have to drop the balls into the trash bins or whatever as they run around. I always thought I would be good at that because I'm like, look, I may not be the biggest guy, but I could be shifty if I needed to, right? And those guys are way too big.
They're big beefcake.
They're talking about
women.
They're talking about the roller cage game where they're in the big hamster ball thing.
Ooh, yeah.
And I guess they collided, a contestant and a gladiator collided so hard it broke the cage, and a piece of like the metal frame went into the guy's back. And like he had to have like 50 stitches. Yeah, it's insane. A lot of stuff like that happening. Like
the 80s was a circus.
How did they get away with this? Yeah.
Early 90s. Yeah.
So what was next after all that nostalgia? That fun dip nostalgia. What was next?
I got to watch our last week's Butter on Top, The Little Mermaid. I saw it in 3D. Everything you said was pretty on point. I didn't mind people have a hang up about the way the Flounder and Sebastian look, but I'm like,
just Flounder. It was just Flounder. I didn't like Flounder.
Really?
Yeah, it was just fine. Flounder.
He's cute. He had funny moments. I liked it. I thought it was all right. But it's gorgeous, man. The colors, the ocean, everything just looked really good. Melissa McCarthy was great. Yeah. I mean, the girl who plays Ariel, is it Halle Bailey or Chloe? Halle Bailey.
Haley
Yeah.
Bailey.
She was fantastic.
Bailey.
She was great. She deserves no hate for this role.
Yeah.
But Melissa McCarthy was meant for that role. That she did so good. I loved every
she
scene
crushed
with her.
it.
Yeah. I give this a pop 2.
It would be cool if they did like an Ursula. What's the movie? What's the thing I'm thinking of, guys? Where they do a prior
The
story.
villain? Yeah.
Wicked.
What's a prior story called? What am I thinking of?
Prequel.
Prequel. If they did a prequel right now where the Iron's Hot with Melissa, and they had her do the Ursula role, bring back Javier and have those two on stage, that would be dope.
Yeah.
That would be so good, and it would be totally on theme. I mean, yeah, they've done that so many times now that it would be like just fit right in the pocket. Yeah. With Maleficent, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, it would be right on par with those films, and I think we would love to see those two on stage with each other in those roles. Would be great.
To prepare next, I watched Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse Part 1.
What did you give Little Mermaid?
Oh, sorry, pop 2.
Pop 2, and then you watched Into the Spider-Verse. Sorry,
did I say pop? Yeah, pop 2. Sorry, yeah. Into the Spider-Verse. Where did I stream that on? Just on cable on demand. I think it's like FX Now or something.
Okay, so like Hulu probably. It's probably on Hulu.
Yeah, it had some commercials in it, but whatever. The opening is great with like the self-aware of like the bad Toby Spider-Man 3 dance. It was like, yeah, I did this. This happened. The popsicle, the ice cream chuck gumball eye popsicle that they mentioned that, and the using the comic books as training, and just all that cool, as Josh would say sometimes, meta stuff.
Oh, meta.
Ah, yeah. Wow. And that's also a little foreshadowing for the butter on top this week, because they use that term a few times.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I love the like kind of official single of the movie, that Post Malone song,
Sunflower.
Yeah, but it just doesn't really seem like it fits the movie. Like if you just the words and everything, they try to shoehorn it in a little bit too much in the movie, kind of like in The Little Mermaid last week. You said that they try to shoehorn in a whole new world, which they do.
Yeah, part of your world. You went Aladdin on me just now. You went Aladdin.
Same thing.
Same universe.
Yeah. But the soundtrack is great throughout the whole movie. The animation is beautiful. It's something so new. It was a little off-putting at first. It's a little hard to be like, I don't know if I really like what I'm seeing, but it's fantastic. It looks great. The version of the Green Goblin in Part 1 of the Spider-Verse one, it's a little odd to me. I feel like I needed some explanation. Like maybe it was like a comic book thing. Is that how he looked?
In the Ultimate
like
series,
a big dragon.
There's an Ultimate line that was like a couple years long, and they just made him like a big hulking monster boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they definitely they did like really pumped it up in this movie. But yeah, that was one version of him.
I didn't remember what they made him look like in Into the Spider-Verse, but Josh, with that was like actually for a comic book reader, that was the perfect explanation, because they did kind of make him look like the Abomination almost at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also in the comic books, does Wilson Fisk have some kind of power?
No.
You've asked this now 2 shows in a row because you reviewed Daredevil.
I know.
His whole thing though, like in the show and in this and most things, his whole thing is like, how can he take that? Because he's just a big tough jerk, and he's stronger than. I mean, he's just really really strong, and he's tough. He's like the big bully kid on the playground, and you just don't understand how strong he is, and you can hit him with a car. And well, that,
if you get deep into Reddit, though, there's a lot of Reddit theories that so the DC universe has the meta gene, right? So lots of Reddit, like they've said that like there's a meta gene or like a super soldier serum type in the Marvel universe, that because he's so rich, he bought a lighter version of that serum and injected himself, is what a lot of people have said. I've read that it's not a real comic book thing. So
is that like fan fiction?
It's like fan fiction that they think that he bought like a lighter version of the super soldier serum and shot himself up with it because he was jealous of Spider-Man's powers. So
I buy that. Yeah, just make me stronger. Sure, easy to just insert that into the headcanon.
Or maybe he's just on like, you know, a lot of speed and steroids or something. I don't know.
Meth.
Spider-Man turning invisible.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first time I watched this movie, that really threw me. I was like, does Spider-Man need invisibility powers? And then like turning like his electric shock thing that he does.
Yep.
I'm like, I don't know. I was like, it's just too much for me at this point. But the scene where he first gets his suit and he's wearing the Jordan 1s and he like jumps from the building and starts swinging, that's peak Spider-Man right there.
Peak superhero, peak Spider-Man. Yeah, dude, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way about all the extra powers. I'm kind of like cool because really, if you really like do a deep study, Spider-Man's one of the strongest superheroes, but he never plays that way. He always plays as the underdog, and it's almost like unreal. Like he has dropped the entire X-Men team single-handedly, but you know. So having more powers, it's just something more fun for him to do. He's still going to be the same old underdog guy somehow.
He took like 6 head punches from the Hulk and he wasn't fine, but but he got back up and he was messed up.
Star-studded voice cast. Also, one more thing that really bothers me about this movie is I can't accept the Spider Ham for sure.
I used to have one of those comics.
Yeah. Just get rid of that. And then also, I'm not feeling the Japanese girl in the Spider Mech thing.
She's a real character too. They're all real characters.
It doesn't work for me. I don't know. But I still give this a popcorn and 2.
Pop and 2. I will tell you this, Jordan. I know you and I are going to be the ones that go over our butter on top, but they lean into the silliness of Spider-Man, where he's like, how can the Spider-Man not be funny? Isn't that kind of our thing? We're funny. When he's running away from the ball, like, why do you have to have a sense of humor? That's awesome. For me, I watched Succession, every single episode, every single season. I will tell you this: if you're hoping to root for a good guy, this is not the show for you. There is not a single good guy on this show. There's no redeemable character on this show. It is another Shakespeare. It's Shakespeare, Josh. But I would say the least likable character wins in the end. And it's the one that you would really love to take over and be strong becomes that character's pawn. And I feel so bad about it. I didn't like it. I thought that was a moment to have a empowerment that we need right now, that we need some inclusion right now, representation. And instead, they make this individual, this person's, kneel before them and kiss their toes, ask for forgiveness along the way. Dang, and it made me mad so lots of people are saying, oh, it was art, it was the most beautiful finale. And I'm like, yeah, it was beautiful, but like there's this big plot point where we're trying to celebrate strength in this person for an entire, we'll just call it species. So I'm not giving too much away. And instead of that happening, this person now has to kiss the other person's feet who they've been in a war with and is forced to hold the hand of this person to grasp a little bit of power that their family has built. So
wait, what is this show about?
For me, Succession. I'm talking about it very artfully, so I apologize.
Okay. You're using metaphors and illusions.
Yeah, I'm trying to do it so I don't spoil anything as well. Like, I don't want to spoil the show for people because this is it's one of the most popular shows in the whole world. So I don't want to spoil it. But essentially, Josh, I'm glad you asked that question. It's about a very, very rich family. And there's so many allegories for Fox News within this show. And they go really heavy in it in the final season. Like, this is Fox News. Just if you were wondering what network we were talking about, it's Fox News.
Yeah, it's loosely based on like Rupert Murdoch and Fox News.
Yeah,
this isn't the one with Culkin in it, is it?
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm with you now. Sorry.
With Kieran. Yeah. He's the best. He is the best part of the show to me. He is the best part of the show for me. He's better than Jeremy Strong, who is reported to be a method actor. He's one of the ones that I'm like, dude, just shut up. Like, I respect you. I think you're great. I love Jeremy Strong. But, like, stop the BS on the set and everything. Just be you. But, again, like Josh says, art is art. Whatever takes real art, just do your thing. Okay, cool. Do your thing. Be an artist. That's your art. But for me, it's kind of like, I think it's a little overboard. Whatever it takes to get you there. Yeah. But it is nice to see that character, which is people on Twitter. Remember, these are all people playing characters. They're not real people. So leave him alone, please. Poppin' 2 for the show. Amazing. It's sad because I can't think of much now, but the father is a classically trained actor, and apparently he had some run-ins with Jeremy Strong on the set, but neither one talks about it. But it was a Poppin' 2 for me. I definitely want to encourage everybody to check out the show. It's a slow burn. Like, you have to have patience. You have to be into the art of the film, of the storytelling and the filmmaking. And what they do with, again, another Josh term, with the single shot, what they do with that single shot, a lot is fairly awesome when they're walking, following them through the office, and you're just following them in a single shot. It's fantastic. And this isn't a spoiler alert because it happened 4 years ago, 5 years ago, season 1, when Kieran Culkin gets the chief of operations role, and he sits in his top story office and then jerks off onto his window. That set the stage for me. I was like, I need to watch the rest of this show. This is a show about some weird power dynamics that I need to learn more about. So yes, check it out. That's my little tease for you that happens in season 1. Next, I watched Barry, the final season here as well. I'm going to tell you right now, he's good, man. Hader is so good. Bill Hader is someone you need to follow. You need to pay attention to. He's making beautiful television. This show, I think, is beautiful. In the production meeting, Josh was telling me some people took it as very dark. It is a very dark show, but it's a comedy. You've got to be willing to laugh at certain things in life where you're like, oh, that's disgusting. Why am I laughing? Yeah. So it's another one of those shows where there are no good people. Gosh, am I just giving a bunch of allegories for society? Anyway, go ahead, Josh.
Those are the movies. The shows that have just been taken off really since Sopranos. But you get into Breaking Bad territory, and then like now we're making shows where everyone's a garbage pile, in their own way, and it's just how they smell different together.
Yeah, you're sitting there like, am I really rooting for this person right now? Do I want them to win? They're awful.
Yeah. Always Sunny.
It's Always Sunny, which is like a 9 on Rotten Tomatoes, by the way, which is wild to me. But you get your Soho Hank, you get your Henry Winkler. Wow. Wow, if he doesn't get an Emmy nomination for season 4, I'm done. He was amazing. I don't want a comedic Emmy nomination. I want a dramatic Emmy nomination for Henry Winkler, because the final episode of this series, Henry Winkler, it was so good. He was so good. I'm like, but he did it. He did the damn thing. Henry Winkler did, and I was like, you're right. I know you will forever be the Fonz, but damn.
Yeah, good for him.
Oh, I mean, forever the Fonz, but really though, think about it. He is a stage stealing fool. Everywhere he goes, he sucks up all the air in a good way. Glad to hear that he did so well.
Yeah. All right, the next thing, the last thing I watched was Platonic with Seth Rogen, Rose Byron. They have amazing chemistry. Yeah. I'm not going to give you a full review because we are mid-series right now, mid-season. I'm going to tell you, episode 1, what got me hooked was Rose Byron walks into Seth Rogen's brewery with her best friend. And they're like, what are we doing here? And I could so relate to it because as I'm getting older, I think that all the time when I end up in like a club or like a discotheque, if you will, or like an overly rowdy pub. And I'm like, what am I doing here?
When I'm anywhere that's not my house.
Why am I here? Right? But I walk in and it's funny because they're like, you know what we have over these young bitches? And Rose Byron goes, what? And her friend goes, better credit, better credit, better credit. And they start singing it in the club. They're like, better credit, better credit. I was like, I was hooked. Yeah, I'm down. Because I do have better credit than all these fools in here. So that made me laugh. I'm not going to give it a rating yet. We're halfway through the season. I just want to encourage everybody to get that on Apple TV. The other 2 shows I reviewed you can watch on Max. Josh, what were you watching this week?
Oh, I'll tell you what I was watching this week. I watched. It was just happened to be on TV. I walked in on the last half of one of the Twilights. It was the Twilight where there's a baby that's had, and I think it must be the last one, right? She becomes a vampire.
Baby is had.
I think it was the last one, but boy, oh boy, that movie is awful. I don't care what loyalties you have to Twilight. It's so toxic. It's so bad. So bad. Anyway, but also I got the chance to watch Hulu had Only Murders in the Building. Only Murders in the Building. Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Right?
Nailed it. You nailed it.
I've been wanting to watch it for a while. It's been out for a while. There's a season 2 that's sort of recently dropped, and I'm glad that I did. It's a really good mystery that has some good twists and turns. It's not like slapstick funny. There's a few it's dry humor, but mostly it's just like gentle, relaxing humor. And it's the same way with the mystery. There's murder, but it's just like really chill about it, you know? It's just a relaxing show to watch. So I was glad I got to binge the first season this week. Steve Martin, Martin Short, of course, obviously have the best synergy in the world. They're
chemistry.
Soulmates.
It's amazing.
Chemistry. Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah. Those 2 carry the show. Selena's great, but those 2,
I
could watch those 2 for hours.
She did good.
Those 2 are so good.
Yeah, they're so good.
They're so good.
It's not even worth talking about because they're just legends and they know it. Three Amigos has got to be on the classic list soon. I'm not sure if we've all seen it. Okay, never mind. Three Amigos, go watch it. But really good jokes. I like Steve Martin. One of my favorites was he's asking about research. Did you research the guy? And she's, yeah, I checked on the social media and didn't really come up with much. He's a quiet guy. And then Steve Martin says, you checked all the sites? And she's like, yeah, I checked all the sites. And then he says, all right, so we've exhausted the internet. And then he just moves on. There's a really good dynamic, and it's not too thick of like, hey, we're old and she's young, and you know, that sort of thing. They do that in a fresh way, at least. Also, meta alert. The show is about a podcast. They make a podcast because there's a murder, so they do a murder-based podcast about the murder, and that's happening in real time on the show. And they use that as a means of telling you the plot. So they're getting the opportunity to explain to you what's happening because they're making this podcast. But why is everything meta all the time now? All self-commentary stuff. Everything is Sherlock.
Vampires pretending to be humans, pretending to be vampires.
Yeah, there you go.
Just a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
What I thought was the only thing that was absolutely ridiculous about the whole show was one of the finale scenes towards the end. They have till 7 a.m. to post a podcast, and they're working on it all night. And then right before they stop, they're like, all right, it's 5:30. We got to get something down. So you think you can write, record, edit, upload, and post in an hour and a half? Is that what your goal is here, bud? Like, come on. Not even if you're doing a live show. Anyway, I do like it. I give the show a popcorn and 2 beers, and there's another season I'm going to jump right into because it seems like it's going to be a seamless show. A lot of good cameos, great show. Oh, and then lastly, I think we all saw this wonderful show called Season 3 of I Think You Should Leave. Whatever Netflix is doing wrong, they are at least holding the boat steady with keeping that show going. It's the best sketch comedy I've seen in a long time. The 3rd season, to me, was just as good as the other ones. Again, it's one of those you probably have to watch twice, and you're going to love it even more, just like the other ones. A lot of throwback actors and actresses. What's the homegirl's name that we all love? Harris, Katie Harris? Anyway.
I don't know her name, but you're talking about is this all we get?
Yeah.
Is this all? Like, she's my favorite. I need her in more sketches.
Yeah,
I'm not stupid. I'm smarter than you. Like,
she had a really good sketch on this season. Yeah. She's so good. And they had some new people. A lot of celebrities. Fred Armisen pops in. That was a really good sketch. Yeah. It's just nonstop great sketches. Great. It's short episodes. If anyone hasn't seen it, it's really short episodes, and it basically equates the whole season's the length of a movie. I think they do it in this format so that they can have sketch comedy without having to worry about a plot. They made a comedy movie, basically.
There is a scene that reminded me of Josh growing up with Josh. Josh and I kind of grew up together. We were both very young when we met each other. And it's the very first episode where he's joking back and forth like, I hate you. I'm going to kill. We're enemies, you know? And then the bigger guy in the back, I hate this. And he starts throwing the chairs and pours water on his face. And then he's like, now where did we go wrong? And the big guy sits on the ground like crisscross applesauce on the ground. And he goes, I ruined it. I screwed it up. I get too hyper every time. And I'm like, I text Josh right away. I was like, that reminded me so much of you. Like, because he said Josh has literally said almost those words where he's like, I get too hyper and too excited.
And I've been on the floor with chairs surrounding me and sweaty.
So it's like if I had immediate flashback. I get too hyper, guys. But there was that one. And I just want to get you guys to watch this show. I have my phone. It's the best phone.
Oh, man.
Boy. I'll sit on my phone the whole time.
Yes.
I like the Pig Boy episode.
The crooner, the driving crooner.
Oh, yeah.
We should be able to watch at least a little porn at work. Like,
so good.
The 200 Friends Club.
I want you.
And I can't do computers.
Man, so such a good show.
I want you guys to check out this show. I don't want to steal all of them so Jordan can do one, but if he doesn't do it, I've got one more for you guys. You want me to do it, Jordan? I'll do it.
No, it's obviously so quotable, and you guys have picked up most of the ones that I wanted to bring up. Just Fred Armisen. The cameos are great. Fred Armisen. What is this? It's me beating up a kid.
That looks like an old man. Damn it! I didn't think you'd be able to tell.
Damn street sets.
Man, that sketch is a good one. Just example of, if anyone doesn't know, every sketch doesn't go anywhere near where you thought it was going to go.
Yeah,
that's the whole
even
concept.
in the middle of a sketch, you're about a few minutes into it, and you're like, and then it just makes a left turn and then a right turn. Like it's just my favorite one I think of the whole season was Will Forte, the side stuck under the car on the sidewalk. You parked on the sidewalk, and I had to crawl under. It's very unsafe. Okay, let me get some scissors. You broke the rules, and I'm not going to walk away. I'm not going to walk away at a loss here.
At a loss, man.
All right, my very last quote.
Episode. Sorry. Oh,
no, my very last quote. Sorry, is why don't I go ahead and pay for the person behind me too? And then he speeds around. No, stop! I'm doing a thing. I need to go before you. I'm doing a thing. 55 burgers, 55 pies, 55 tacos, 55 shakes, 55 pancakes, and 108 taters.
How about a fast food restaurant though that offers that extensive of a menu?
Yeah.
Like it's pretty much Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box.
Jack in the
Box. I really like the Biff Whiff episode. By the way, Biff Whiff, Santa Claus in this season 2.
He has to go fund me.
Yeah, he's in the hospital. He's battling, I think, cancer, and he's got to GoFundMe.
Yeah.
So go hit up Biff Whiff's GoFundMe account and help him get out. He's a superb actor, and he seems like a great guy. But his sketch, this shirt brother, when he, it was so good. It was like psychological existentialism, just dripping all over it for no reason. And in the end, when he just, anyway, Popcorn in 3. I love this. I'm going to be quoting it for the rest of my life.
So Josh, with your drunk classic, are you going to quote that for the rest of your life?
Not much to quote, really, in that show. Perhaps some emulation could be done. It's a real think piece, guys. We watched this week for a drunk classic. We watched Loving Vincent. Now, if you don't know, this show is it's a fictional retelling of someone investigating his death because he thinks it was a murder. Everyone thinks it was a suicide. And it's really just a method for us to go see his life story and stuff. But while it is fictional and it's totally written dialogue and stuff, it's used. They spent years and years studying over 800 letters of correspondence to and from Van Gogh or Van Gogh, whatever. So they have a huge source material to draw from, and that's how they did it. They went to where he was. They used his paintings. They were replicated, copied, but I'm not sure if you guys noticed, almost all of his famous paintings are in the movie, just in the background or in transition of a scene. The whole movie was over 100 artists doing oil paintings. There's over 850 paintings with overlays.
8 years.
Wow.
If you get a chance, there's a behind the scenes somewhere on YouTube. By the way, I saw this on YouTube, but I think you can get it on Apple TV.
Yeah.
I got it on Google.
It was just incredible watching the process of making it. They're just doing oil painting after oil painting. I'm not sure how much you liked it, guys. We'll talk about that. But I think it's a popcorn and 2 if you're really feeling like artsy stuff, because it helps you really love and appreciate Van Gogh more than you probably already do. You got to see, like, he had a beautiful heart and he had a troubling life, and it was just I think it was a wonderful movie. Not the best. Starts off slow and blah blah blah, but the paintings, the way it's animated is just so incredible. Absolutely beautiful. I loved how they did it, and good cast. I popcorn in 2.
Pop in 2. Jordan, what do you think?
It was great. It's beautiful. Yeah, all the painting, everything was really awesome visually. A lot of well-known actors in there, as you mentioned in your reveal last week. Saoirse Ronan, the best name in Hollywood. Chris O'Dowd, if you don't know who that is, he's the cop love interest in Bridesmaids. We did fun stuff.
You can tell right away.
Favorite lines.
When I went to the castles, when I heard his voice as the father, and I was like, I know who that voice is, and I was right. Yeah, the Irish dude.
Yeah, yeah. The guy who plays Sir Bronn in Game of Thrones.
Yep, he's in it.
Is in there.
He's also in. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. And R.I.P. to Helen McCrory. She is Aunt Paul in Peaky Blinders. She's in there as well. Yeah.
I forgot about that. And she's passed. That's sad.
Yeah. She had cancer or something. Very sad. She's
Bleep
great.
Cancer.
Yeah.
Bleep cancer.
I'm not a big painting and kind of painter like appreciator. It's not really my realm of interest.
Sure.
But this instills some appreciation in you. If you're not really into that, you're like, you can find some in watching this,
Yeah.
But just for me, the narrative of it was just a little bit wandering at times. But just because it's so new, it's unlike anything I've ever seen, and visually it's so great, and just the idea behind it, I give it a pop 2.
Pop 2.
I gave it a pop +2 as well. So that's funny. We're all unanimous here. The art was amazing. The only part I didn't like is the 70s, 80s style opening where I had to watch every single credit before the movie even started.
Yeah.
And I was like, come on, man. Like, let's go. Let's get this going. Yeah. And I'm not going to lie. Again,
skip.
Expectation is the downfall of us all. Expectation is because I had such low expectations for the film. Sorry, Josh.
No. Yeah. It's great. For sure.
That it wound up really impressing me. I was like, wow, this is actually a really cool story, a really cool take, amazing art. Like, you can't, if you say this is bad art, you're dumb. Sorry. If our audience hates that I said that, leave. Like, if you say this is bad art, you're dumb. This is amazing art. It was phenomenal art.
It changed everything.
Yeah, and when you read the credits and you read, like, it took them 8 years and over 100 artists were painting these pieces, and then to get all the scenes, like you said, Josh, the animation to go together, it's almost like claymation.
Yeah.
It was wild to me how good the story was along lined up with the animation. So I gave it a pop and 2 as well. I thought it was a great retelling. I thought that the main character was very redeemable, so much so that I went and saw that it did in fact win the Academy Award for Best Animated Picture.
Oh, it did great.
And I was very curious because I went to Wikipedia and I was like, what? Oh, you go down to the award section. I was like, because in my head I was like, this had to at least get nominated because it's a really good anime, and it won. It won the I think it was 2017 Academy Award for Best Animated Feature, and I was like, okay, good. Like, I'm glad it wasn't like Shrek 2.
it's more. It's more than just an animation. It's more than just a painted animation, which is unheard of. But it's painted in the style of Vincent Van Gogh. It's about Van Gogh, like you said. It's a wandering plot, kind of like Van Gogh's work. Like it all fit on theme in such an artistic way. It's a monument to art as a whole, just like he was. It's wonderful.
It was good. So we had a great butter on top. Josh, thank you so much for that drunk classic. Thank you for broadening my horizons. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But Jordan, we got to go and watch a kids movie with some popcorn. Josh, you had to work. I am so sorry. But we got to go to the movies, Jordan, and we got to go watch Spider-Man Across the Multiverse, not Into the Multiverse, right? So Jordan, what did you think? What did you think?
Oh, it's great. I have a hang up about these movies, as you can tell in my review of the first one
of Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I have a lot of just kind of nitpicky things, I guess, but it's just, again, visually, it's awesome, and stylistically, the soundtrack is great. I
have that in my notes. I said great soundtrack.
It's awesome. Yeah. It's definitely one that you could stream just in your car and listen to.
Oh, dog! I can't wait to go to Spotify and find this soundtrack.
Yeah, the Spot was a really cool character.
I love the Spot. He's in that.
I really like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Very important. Cool. Very important.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Very essential to the plot. And then I also I think I mentioned this as well. I don't know if it was in episode last week, but the Indian Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. I don't know what.
Eastern Indian. Yes.
But his name, I can't think. It's his. They all have different plays on Peter Parker. Different Spider-Mans. Well, most of them do. But he's funny. The guy that voices him is really funny.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Do we know him? I'm going to keep this one the same. Pop 2.
Nice. Pop 1 and 2.
Pregnant Spider-Woman. Part 1 for me. Pregnant Spider-Woman. Boom! She killed it. She was amazing. I love that character. Pregnant Spider-Woman. And I love it because Gwen totally voices exactly what my thought was, which was, can you just adopt me? And I was like, yes, there's some funny one-liners. It makes fun of itself quite a bit, right? It makes fun of itself quite a bit. Like in the art scene in the museum, when they save everyone at the very end, one of the characters, totally making fun of our generation, looks up from his cell phone and goes, I think it's Banksy. And I loved that. I was like, that's so funny. Like Jordan said, beautiful art, beautiful soundtrack, a ton of diversity is represented. Andy Samberg as Scarlet Spider-Man was perfect. As the Scarlet Spider, it was
That's
so
cool.
Perfect.
He's one of my favorite Spider-Men, too.
Yeah. I'm just dreading everything that's ever happened to me. It was so... Do you guys think this pose is really dope? Yeah, it's a dope pose. It was perfect. His voiceover was perfect for what they want to do with the character. Jordan, I, as you know, live in England.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching this in an English theater.
Okay.
You mentioned the Eastern Indian Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. He has a scene where he says, and that's where the British stole all of our stuff. I laughed out loud in the theater. No one else laughed. No one else laughed. Yes, no one else laughed. It was just me. And I was like, oops. But I thought that was so funny because he points to the Mumbai Museum and he goes, that's where the British stole all of our stuff. And I thought that was so perfect and so funny, but I think they made up for it with Daniel Kaluuya as the British punk rock Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
I thought that was perfect.
Spider-Punk.
It was a good movie, Jordan. You're right. I give it a popcorn and 2 as well. I give it a popcorn and 2 as well. Good movie. Yeah, Josh, I can't wait for you to see it. Yeah, but Josh, we're gonna put you in pain again. I'm sorry we gotta do this to you. Jordan, what's our drunk classic for this week?
It's another Transformers film. But this one, there's some optimism. There's some optimism with this one. The Beast. What is it? Beast Wars.
Sorry,
Beast
this
Wars.
is our butter on top. This is our butter on top. You're giving our butter on top, not our drunk classic.
Oh, sorry. Well, I mean, my drunk.
But it's
classic...
okay. Go into our butter on top. What's our butter on top, Jordan? Give that one too.
Transformers: Rise of the Beast, I believe it's called.
Rise of the Beast.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the drunk classic. Again, I'm going to try to tie something into this. I had one that I thought I was going to go with, but I'm like, you know what? That's too mainstream. Everyone's seen it. My initial pick was going to be iRobot with Will Smith.
I actually just saw that recently.
It's an incredible movie. I think I saw that with Fry and your whole family when it came out in theaters when I was really young.
Probably super true.
Yeah. But I'm going to actually go animated. It's a movie called Robots.
Oh, wow.
Oh, with Robin Williams and Amanda Bynes.
Yep.
I haven't seen that in years. Well, since it opened. I saw it open.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since it came out either, Josh.
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay.
Cool. I have a teacher that worked on that movie. One of my art teachers worked on that movie.
Sweet.
Oh, you're going to make me sad with Robin Williams. I'm going to get sad every time I hear his voice.
Yeah.
Amazing actor. You guys are amazing. I love both of you. And I love our audience. Jordan, where can they reach us?
At Popcorn and Beer.
At Popcorn and Beer on Twitter. All right. We love you all. And we will see you at the movies. Thank you so much for joining us this week.